All right, so
Take
slab.
one?
Huh?
Nothing?
Is it on?
Yeah. I just said take one.
Oh, take one.
Yeah. Just in
Oh, it's
case.
the only one. It's live.
Yeah, just in case.
Just live. All right, Cornell notes. Let's do that later. Evenly cooked piece of clay. Think of like a tile. Just think of a tile. Evenly thick piece of clay. So we got slats. There are some different thicknesses in the studio next door. The ones here back behind me are only this thickness. I think that's about a 1/4 inch. And then you always want to work on a piece of canvas so that it doesn't stick to the table. Sometimes the moisture in the clay makes it stick. I think you've experienced that a couple times. You need a rolling pin. There's a couple different sizes. And you need clay. When you're rolling it out, it's going to get longer in only one direction. Not the band. And it's simple, right? Stand up while you do it, because then you have your body weight. I see people just try and push it, and then they're struggling, and then they get frustrated. And then the other thing is to pick up the clay and flip it over. You can see where it left all this moisture. So that's the time when it starts to stick. So it's a good idea to pick it up. It won't get stuck to the canvas that way. And then the other thing is, because it gets longer in one direction, if you wanted a wider piece or a taller piece, you need to think about, like, plan ahead enough that you have the right size slab, right? So then you just, I'm gonna do that. Rotate it 90 degrees, and you're just rolling it that way, and then you get a larger piece in the other direction. Flipping it, and then you just roll it flat until it's not making any more, and then you know it's as thick as these slats. You could double up the slats if you wanted a thicker piece. Sometimes that's good for carving or something. The other thing is you're limited when you use the rollers to the size of the rolling pin. So if you wanted something wider, think about what tool you're using there. And then it does spread out a little bit side to side, so make sure that you have enough room for that expansion between the clay and the slab. If you're too close, then sometimes the clay will ride up like that, and then you're gonna get either stuck to the rolling pin, just a weird lump on the side. So just be mindful of that. And then the other thing is, last thing is, as you're gonna work with the slab, the canvas gives a little bit of texture to the clay that you'll want to clean up. And then also you can use a rib, or if you just grab something quick, I'm gonna use this, but the flat piece, and just to compress a little bit and smooth it out. And if the clay is a little bit dry, or reclaim, sometimes that'll happen. But you're compressing the clay, smoothing it out, taking away that texture. And you want to do that to both sides. Sometimes a little bit of water helps, a little bit of moisture, but not too much. And so compressing that clay gives you a stronger piece of clay. So there are some new challenges when you're ready for that. Some of it's just about measuring the clay and cutting it into some different chunks. The second one has you drying the clay out a little bit. So we think about plastic and leather hard and bone dry, and how to manage the clay in terms of how it dries. There will be some times when, if you want to make something, like our third project is going to be a little different than what's written in the book, because I thought better of it. But if you try to stand up and work with something when the clay is still plastic, it's going to be really soft and organic and slumpy, right? Down at the bottom, the gravity will show you what it's doing. So you want the slabs oftentimes to be like a leather hard, so they stand up and you get nice clean lines on your, like a mug, for example, right? A lot of people want just a straight-sided mug. So things to think about in terms of of working with the clay for those guys. All right, good.